From time immemorial, legend spoke of the chosen, a mortal destined to walk between worlds. In the valley of Ardalan, nestled between mist-touched peaks, there lived a young woman named Mira. From childhood she felt out of place. Her dreams were full of strange voices, flickering lights, and distant lands she could not name. Villagers whispered that she was touched by fate, though Mira dismissed it as childish fancy. Mira lived with her grandmother, Leora, in a humble cottage by the forest's edge. Leora would sometimes hum ancient lullabies passed down from ages when sword and sorcery reigned. She said little about Mira's birth. On Mira's 21st birthday, Leora gave her a delicate pendant made of a crystal that glowed faintly in moonlight. "Keep it safe," Leora said. "When the time comes, it will show you your path." Mira accepted it warily, never expecting the day would come soon. A fortnight later, strangers arrived in Ardalan. They called themselves the Seekers of the Veil. The Seekers were robed, silent, their eyes like polished stones. They asked after Mira, but villagers refused to betray her. That night, in her dreams, the crystal in the pendant shivered, sending pulses of light through her mind. A voice whispered, "Awaken." The next morning, Mira awoke to find her village in chaos. Dark creatures, shadows with flickers of red in their eyes, had slipped through the border of forest and attacked. The Seekers acted swiftly, forming a protective circle around Mira's cottage. One of them, a tall figure named Saran, knelt before her. "You are the chosen," he said softly, voice like silver wind. "You bridge the light and the shadow. The vault of worlds has fractured, letting dark forces seep into this realm. We have come to guide you." Fear churned in Mira's heart, but seeing the fear and determination in Saran's eyes, she nodded. The pendant leapt in her hand, casting trembling light across the walls. The creatures recoiled, hissing, then vanished into wails of smoke. Saran explained, "Centuries ago, the world was whole, but ambition tore it asunder. 3 realms now stand, light, shadow, and mortal. The chosen holds the key to their balance. If darkness spreads uncontrolled, all realms shall collapse. Now the vault is cracked, the world bleeds." Mira had been born with a latent ability, awakened by the pendant. She must journey through the veil and repair what was broken. Thus, accompanied by Saran and 2 others, a healer named Alan and a warrior named Kale, Mira set out. Their first trial was to cross the forest of echoes, where every whisper in one's mind becomes a trap. Trees whispered doubts, fears, secrets. Mira heard voices. "You are lost. You will fail." But the pendant glowed brighter. Alan sang ancient words. Kale cut through creeping shadows. At the forest center lay a ruin, and within it an obelisk corrupted by black vines. To cleanse it, Mira placed the pendant against the stone. The crystal's light flared, tearing the darkness. A shock wave spread. The forest stilled. The obelisk split, and a shard flew up into the sky, sealing one rift in the veil. One fragment down, many to go. Next they crossed the plains of whispering sand, where ghosts of the past roamed, seeking to trap wanderers in memory. Mira saw visions of childhood, loved ones lost, regrets. She nearly sank into sorrow, but Saran's voice steadied her. "You are here. The past does not define you." With tears and a resolute heart, she pressed on. At journey's end rested a ruined temple, half buried in dunes. There, in a chamber of sand and silence, they faced a sand shadow beast. Kale and Saran fought. Alan tended wounds, while Mira climbed a high ledge and thrust the pendant onto a stone altar. A beam of pure white light shot upward, eradicating the beast and sealing another rift. But victory came at cost. Alan collapsed, grievously wounded by a spectral claw. In a fevered state, she whispered, "Keep going, you are the hope." Kale and Saran lifted her. They pressed forward, hearts heavier. Their journey led them to the edge of night, the border between mortal and shadow. There the greatest rift gaped. Darkness spilled like ink across the sky. The air crackled. To cross, one must wield both light and shadow in harmony. Saran admitted he had only mastery in guiding light. Kale was fierce, but unbalanced. Only Mira, as the chosen, might survive. They descended into a crevasse, climbing a staircase of bones and black stone. At the bottom lay a chamber, and in its center, a jagged void. The Shadow King awaited, a figure wreathed in darkness, crowned in midnight flame. "You are too late, chosen," he intoned, voice echoing through all realms. "The vault's fractures shall consume all." Mira trembled, but as she gripped the pendant, Saran and Kale stood behind, shielding her. The Shadow King unleashed tendrils of despair and flame. Kale charged, Saran raised protective wards. But their magic faltered in the darkness. Mira stepped forward. Within her chest, she felt two pulses, one of light, one of shadow. The pendant glowed. She forced the currents to align. A delicate balance formed, not pure light, not pure dark, but fusion. She raised her hand. From the pendant a sphere of swirling luminescence, and deep inky swirl pulsed outward. The Shadow King screamed. His tendrils recoiled. The sphere expanded, weaving threads of energy that lanced across the void. Mira fell to her knees, sweat and tears in her eyes. But she held course. The threads wound around the rift, stitching it. The Shadow King's form fractured, dissolving into motes of darkness that spiraled away. The rift sealed with a final thunderclap. Light and dark settled, tremulous but restored. Outside the chamber, dawn broke in all realms at once. Alan, weak but alive, stirred. Saran and Kale embraced Mira. Years passed. Mira returned to Ardlin, but she was changed. The balance needed vigilance. She became a guardian, traveling between realms to heal cracks, teach harmony, and keep darkness at bay. Her name became legend, the Chosen, the one who walked between worlds. In the quiet of the twilight, Mira would sometimes touch her pendant and remember the trials, the voices, the pain and hope. And she would whisper to the wind, "Light and shadow are not enemies. They are two halves of the whole." Thus ends the tale of the Chosen, a story of courage, balance, and the strength within a single heart to bind worlds together.